Originally released for the now, for all purposes, defunct Stadia platform, Young Souls is a fun take on the action RPG genre. Featuring 2D combat, a pair of punk sibling protagonists who just love to randomly swear, and a whole lot of gear and upgrades throughout your 10 or so hours, the game is coming to Game Pass at release on Xbox. With that ease of access in mind, let us take a rather spoiler-free look and see if this is a goblin-jibbing good time or a puerile punk poser in the XboxEra review of Young Souls. You begin at the end. The world has gone to heck, and twins Tristan and Jen are full of crimson fury as they attempt to save their town. After a you will get your ass handed to you first boss, you go back in time a short while and the game begins proper. I was immediately struck by how damned pretty this game is. Running in the Unity engine, the game features great animation during both cutscenes and gameplay alike. Whether it's traversing your mansion home, where the orphan twins live with the professor, or taking your moped around the city, always in a 2D perspective, though you can shift planes up and down at any time, things look beautiful. The game features a mix of real-world and fantasy locations as you quickly learn just what the professor has been up to. After a very short introductory sequence to the game's many progression mechanics, it is an ARPG after all, you begin the heart of things, which is your dungeon-crawling adventures. Each of the game's 4 main areas is broken up in a grid-like pattern, where you face ever more difficult enemies. One of the best features here is your choice in how easy or difficult things are. By default, the devs wanted it to be a difficult experience because that sense of progression feels best that way. But if you're not in the mood for a lot of looting and experience grinding, you have a ton of control on a bevy of accessibility features. From how much damage you do, how much damage enemies do, to things like auto-blocking, you can make the game as easy or hard as you prefer. It's not typical for a smaller indie title to focus on this area, and it was great to see here. The game is built around couch co-op, which is always great, but it sadly appears to be missing any type of online cooperative play. I played the majority of my time solo, and things were still fun and felt well balanced. It adds in a powerful tag-in mechanic as well that helped me quite a bit on tougher enemies. But none of this setup would matter if the game wasn't fun to play, and thankfully, it's solid in that area as well. The twin protagonists are a mix of occasionally funny and quite often too cool for school, early on especially. And there were occasions where I failed a mission, and I was happy to see their smug faces get smashed in. Combat is a fairly basic to start with. It's X as your main attack, Y as your mana-using move, and that's tied to your specific weapon type on what that mana-using ability is. Right bumper is a combat roll, right trigger is your equipped item, which actually takes quite a while to get, and A is your jump. Combat is on that 2D brawler style at all times, with an emphasis on parrying using the left trigger, which is a block when you hold it down. Getting the timing down for this parry was key, as multiple enemies and bosses simply can't be hit with regularity, when solo at least, until you've parried them, multiple times as well. It wasn't always the most balanced system, but there was a decent enough variety on hand weapon-wise, and finding new ones, crafting them, and then focusing on upgrades, it was a lot of fun if you're into that RPG-style, numbers-go-up, powering dopamine hit. In my first hour or so, the combat did feel a bit flat, but it quickly evolved as I found more weapons, either by defeating bosses, called Guardians here, or by looting chests. The upgrade system helped quite a bit, as you can, though rather slowly at times, unlock more perks on your armor and weapons to create builds. It ends up being quite a deep and satisfying system by the end. Load times were a bit long, considering the size of this game, but it was good enough that the constant fast traveling to and from the dungeons never felt punishing. One of the big and enjoyable grinds are the finding of various types of keys needed for both looting chests and accessing certain areas. There is a lot of value here whether you're playing on Game Pass or buying the game outright, though there is no price on the store yet pre-launch. The game has no voice acting, but features a whole lot of well-written text. The dialogue goes for humor quite often, and it hit fairly regularly with me. Outside of the twins' initial everyone sucks vibes, there's also a surprising amount of swearing in this game. which you can turn off if you prefer. The music is solid here as well. It's never particularly memorable, but it also doesn't get in the way and it feels appropriate for the story and action going on. I ran into no major bugs as well, and Quick Resume worked like a charm the entire time I played through the main campaign. In conclusion, Young Souls is an easy recommendation on Game Pass. For purchase, I'd make sure to watch some gameplay footage to make sure you know exactly what you're getting into here, and also finding out what that price is. It's a comprehensive and entertaining package. The story is a bit basic overall, but features well-written, snappy dialogue. Combat is solid, and making your ultimate gear setup never got old for me. And the graphics are downright gorgeous. Despite their flaming red hair, these young twins are full of soul. Thank you so much for watching, and please like, comment, and subscribe, and you can visit us at patreon.com/XboxEra if you want to help support us. And we'll see you here next time on XboxEra.